creepy. I don't like it in here.
So what's the matter with you?
Where did he go?
Wild. Put your soul into it. Wild. What's going on around here?
And welcome to Haunting Live podcast this week. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We are live right now. Thank you so much for watching us, and don't forget to also follow us on our other social media platforms over on Facebook. We are on Twitter and Instagram as well, so don't forget to check that out and help support us by following us on the other platforms. But also, if you miss us live here, you can also watch us later on, or even listen to us on the podcast apps. But today we do have a very special guest for our show today. We welcome to the show Delia Luna Healing, which is psychic medium Delia, and we're going to be talking to her about what she does and her mediumship journey. So let's bring her on in today. Hi there, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to join us all the way from California, especially. So thank you for being here on Haunting Live this week.
Thank you for the invite.
Well, it's wonderful to have you to share some of your stories and insights into mediumship and what you do. So let's start with the question of how you get into mediumship and what brought you into the field.
It started in 2016. I lost my brother, and through the grieving process, a year later, I started connecting with him. He started sending me signs, and I thought I was going crazy. But then I started reading about the afterlife, and I had previous knowledge about my life path and my destiny because I learned about numerology in my late teens. And I learned that I am here for a higher calling. My purpose is definitely to connect with the spirit world and bring the light to earth. And so I decided to call a medium, and I was just blown away by the medium's accuracy and how he connected with my brother. And I just one time just sat on the table. I was sitting down, and I was just like, what is my calling? What am I supposed to do? And I opened up my book, and it just jumped out at me like, you are destined to do this. And I remembered when I connected with the medium, how much healing he provided and the ability that I had to connect with my brother. So I said, you know what, I am going to do this. And so I started taking courses, and it definitely helped me develop my mediumship skills. And here I am doing it professionally now.
Right, so you kind of got into it because you had a close relative pass away. So did you end up being able to communicate with that relative afterwards, or was that part of your development?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah. Well, I was able to recognize the signs first. I learned that death is not the end, and you know how sensitive spirit is, the things that they could do. And I learned that I was clairaudient. I was able to hear him. And soon after, I was able to hear other spirits, my friend's mother, and I was able to see her, and I just felt led to give my friend this message like, hey, I feel like your mother came to me, and your mother told me this, and she showed me this. And my friend was just blown away because actually seeing her mother, I had a vision of her mother. She came in a white gown, and she's, you know, she was just like, tell my daughter I'm so proud of her. No matter what, you know, she's doing amazing, to keep going. And I was just like, okay. So I called my friend, and I told her, and my friend was just like, I just asked my mother a couple nights ago if she was proud of me. And she's like, and she actually passed away wearing a white gown that I gifted her for Christmas. And I was just like, that is your mother. She came to me. And little by little, other spirits just started visiting me, and I started relating messages, and yeah.
So that's sort of how you started getting into it, was by actually seeing and hearing spirits as well. So
Right.
did you have to use any kind of development tools to encourage your abilities, or was it kind of a natural process for you that you kind of picked up on?
Well, first I started hearing my brother, recognizing the signs, and then when I started taking the courses, I just learned that you just have to trust what you're hearing, what you're feeling. Um, and then I learned that what is it called? I think it's called like auto writing, where you just write everything down, whatever comes to your mind. And I also do that now. And now I sometimes use the tarot cards when the connection isn't as strong, or just so I could get a little bit more details of the messages that spirit is trying to give me.
Yeah, it's always good to learn to use different tools, I think, in the trade, like tarot cards, or if you want to use automatic writing to kind of communicate that as well, what the spirit's saying. So, do you find that you need to sort of use that to validate sometimes, or is it more of a extra tool to kind of help you?
It's definitely an extra tool. Yeah, there's sometimes that spirit just comes through and they're just super talkative, and I could just the signs that they, like the what I feel, what I see, what I hear is just nonstop. And there's times where the connection is just not as strong. Um, and it also, I feel like it also has to do with the sitter, how much they're receiving and how much they could confirm. Sometimes you have these people that want more, something more detailed, or even helps them. When I, having something visual and I show them like, oh, look, this is what they're showing me. Say for instance, the 10 of Cups is a family out there and there's a house in the back, and money is, new beginning is just like your loved one is showing me here that, you're going to buy a house. And it's just like, I just bought a house. And it's like, well, your loved one loves it. They're here, they're happy, and so it helps. It helps, but it's definitely an extra tool. And it just helps my sitter have something more, you know, uh, uh, where they could see something visual.
I think it also would help them to confirm what you're telling them as well, right? That's not just
Right.
this is what I see
Right.
in the cards, but this is also saying the same thing. So I think it would make your sitter more at ease as well to say, okay, I understand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to develop your mediumship skills, and how long have you been actually doing mediumship for?
It was really quick. Safer. I believed I heard my brother. It started with the picture. It started with the video, actually. It was the Day of the Dead, and I went to the cemetery. And there's a video, and in the video, I caught this orb, and it was just crazy. And I remember I was on my porch. My husband and I were out there, and I was crying, and I asked my brother, not out loud, but like, no, I'm lying. So I'm sitting there, and then I heard my brother come, and he's like, "Hey, sis, what's cracking?" And I'm like, and then he's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's really me." And I'm having like a full blown conversation with him, like, "Is it really you?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm in the video. Go back." And he said, "I come out the grave and I shoot up and I go around everybody and I zoom, go back down." And I thought I was tripping out, and my heart was just pounding, like, do. And I'm looking at my husband, and my brother tells me, like, "Tell him it's okay. Everybody already thinks you're crazy." So I go to the video, and exactly how my brother described it is exactly what I saw, because I even downloaded an application where I could slow motion the video, and it's a orb came out the grave. That's the first time I ever heard him. And a week later, I decided, I started reading about mediumship, and, found out some courses that were available. And I decided to take a course, which was like 2 weeks after that. And I dived in pretty quick, just really quick. It took probably about 2, 3 months, 2 months. Yeah. And I've been doing it now for 3 years. 4 years.
So this is something that you do full time now? Is it part of your everyday now that you do mediumship? Is it something that you adopted to do every day for people?
It is. It is. I'm pretty busy. I actually, yeah, every day now.
That's really amazing that you have the ability to incorporate that into your day to day, so and help people with their issues.
Right.
So,
Right.
what sort of one story that you want to share that kind of stands out from your abilities and your experiences so far, from helping somebody with mediumship? What's like one thing that really stood out to you?
Mm. There's many, but I actually have 2 stories. This one is so funny. This one, our loved ones, they send us, I feel like they manifest in beautiful creatures, right? We have the butterflies, ladybugs. And this one, the guy was like, tell her I sent her lizards. And I said, well, our loved ones send us butterflies and jaybirds, but he's telling me he sent you lizards. And she's like, lizards? There's no way, like, okay. And a week later, she said, oh my God, she's like, I have a story for you. She said, my daughter came home from school. And that day she was just thinking about, her partner that passed away. And the daughter came home with a box. And she said, hey, Mom, I brought you something. And she's like, well, what is it? And when she opened it, it was a lizard. And she was just like, here goes my lizard that he sends me. And recently I did a reading and I just seen hearts everywhere. And I told my client, he sends you hearts. Like the love will never fade. It's just like, I need you to pay attention to hearts, whether it's a water spot, something. I said, I was just like, pay attention to hearts. And she said, hey, something very crazy happened. She went to the restaurant and they came out and they gave her a plate. And they said, oh, the chef said that he made this with love for you, especially for you. And she was with a friend. And the egg was in a heart shape. And her and her friend ordered the same thing. And her friend's was just plain. And she knew right there and then it was from her fiance, or her husband, I believe, her husband. And she's just like, you told me this would happen and it's happening, so yeah, there's just so many stories.
No, those are two wonderful stories that you just shared. So thank you very much. I'm sure they really meant a lot to the people that you were helping out. So, to your clients. So, sort of what do you?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
good.
Especially because sometimes we overlook the signs and we don't know how to pay attention to them, so people just really want to know, like, are they still here with us? Like how, can you let me know the sign that he will give me? So I think it's very important, to like connect with spirit and let them, let the sitter know, the client, hey, this is a sign he's going to give you. And then they receive it, so it just kind of confirms like spirit is still here with you.
Yeah, it's a way of spirit confirmation that you actually communicate. Like I said, the sitter, your client, actually can acknowledge that that's happening for them. So it's a way of verifying that.
Right.
So during your readings, do your guides actually do that for you? Do they kind of tell you what the sign is going to be for your client?
Or
are there different ways of finding out what the signs are?
Yeah, it just pops up. It's just like sometimes it just kind of just lips through. Like it's just crazy. I always start my readings with a prayer. I always ask my spirit guides to guide me. But like sometimes I tell my husband, I just feel like I am just connected to their energy. I honestly have no idea where it comes from. It just comes. Voices, visions I have, it just comes. I'm not sure if it's my spirit guide or, but sometimes it definitely feels like, for instance, yesterday, this was just another story. And my husband was just blown away. I was trying to connect with it was a feminine energy I was connecting, and it was definitely a friend. But while I was connecting with her, with the feminine energy, a dog just came running out, and the dog is just like jumping. And it was a white and black dog. And I had to stop and I said, I see a black and white dog. And the lady's like, oh, she's like, well, how does it look? And I started describing it. And she's like, that's my dog. My dog passed away 2 months ago. So, okay, and then I heard rescue. I just heard rescue because I said, what kind of dog is it? And I think she's like a Maltese or something. A Yorkie mixed with the Maltese. And then I said, well, I just hear rescue, I feel like your dog is just, like, thank you for rescuing him. And she's like, yeah, I got it from the rescue, and I'm like, oh, wow, like, and then it was just, I seen 12 and, it's like, is 12 significant? And she's like, we had the pet for 12 years. So my husband's like, wait, the dog is talking to you? Like, how did you come up with this? And I'm like, I just seen it. Like, I heard it. Like, it's like the dog telling me like 12. Thank you. And so my husband's just like, how does a dog talk to you? Maybe it is my spirit guides. It's just something that I'm still kind of learning, where this information comes from, but it's definitely divine.
Yeah, there's still a lot of learning that continues on, even when you start getting into mediumship. You think you have your way of doing it, but you're always learning and developing new ways of doing it. But that's what the shows is all about as well, is trying to bring out stories that people share through their development stages of mediumship. So thank you for sharing those to us.
You're welcome.
So what else do you do besides mediumship in your field? I know you're into other things like numerology as well. You were talking about also using different tools like tarot cards and also normal playing cards, which is really interesting. So do you want to sort of talk about how you started doing numerology and sort of using cards?
So I actually had a friend that was into the angel numbers. And, when I started learning about astrology, and then she said, angel numbers, it's something special too. So I actually was at a bookstore and I came across a numerology book. And I was like, I want to learn about, these numbers. And I actually bought it. It's the book is the book for dummies, no idiots. It's an idiot book, numerology. Well, I actually read it all like in one day, and I was just so fascinated with the information. I always thought I was different, and I always thought I was weird. But I had this book just point out my strength, my weaknesses, what I'm here to work on. And it was just like, whoa, how did I know this? Like I knew this from somewhere. I just didn't understand where it came from because I had these beliefs. So then shortly after, I had a friend that used the playing cards. And again, all her information, I think she told me was just very accurate, things that she predicted, and I was just fascinated. And so I'm like, can you teach me? And I remember printing out the cheat sheet from, I Googled, the cheat sheet, and I started giving readings to friends and family. And next thing you know, they're coming to me and they're just like, everything you said was so true. Remember, you said I would get a new job, and you even told me what kind of job I was going to get. And so I was just like, really, yeah. And when I when I asked my brother, what should I do? Like, I mean, help me. And I opened this book and it just jumped at me like, this is your calling. I said, well, I am going to do everything. And then I learned the tarot cards. So I do numerology charts. I do the tarot cards, the oracle cards. I also do the playing cards, intuitive readings as well. And there's a time that I had stepped into Christianity, and I believe in the power of prayer. And I would pray for people, in the name of Jesus, and I'll do the laying of hands. and I've seen miracles happen. So I always knew that I was also a healer, so I am now a Reiki practitioner as well. And I do energy readings too, where I do the bioscan of people's bodies, and I could pick up some illnesses, some blocked chakras. So I'm starting to do a lot. Like for the last year, I'm just incorporating everything into my career or my profession.
No, that's really cool. I think that's something that people don't often recognize is sometimes they may have things happen to them. Like you said, they may see strange things, like they might be feeling the energy from somebody, or they touch somebody and they get healed kind of thing, and they may call it a miracle or something. But it is a form of Reiki, so touching and healing is a part of the Reiki. And that's really cool that you can pick that up through. Did you know what it was originally, or did you figure that out later on that it was Reiki?
No, in the beginning, I definitely felt like it was, Jesus, just the power of Jesus. And then I definitely felt like it was, just faith that comes with it. And then I learned that I was an empath, and what that meant when I started using healing crystals. It's like, okay, energy is important here. So then I learned about Reiki, and there's times that, for Reiki it's different because you have to activate your hands, and I'm going to be honest, there's times I don't have time to activate my hands. So I'll just say quick prayer, I just really believe that it's just the energy and how much faith you have.
Yeah, that's true. So are you still developing that then as one of your abilities, or is it something that you use all the time now?
I've always used the laying of hands, but now I do Reiki during like private sessions. So I do everything. I incorporate everything. Definitely before I start my Reiki, I start with a prayer, and I call on my spirit guides. I definitely welcome Jesus into it too.
Yeah, that's great that you're still leaning on part of your faith as well to help you through mediumship. It's a part of the connection, I think, as well, to have that connected to your abilities. So it helps you kind of guide your way through your path, through your journeys. So
Right.
yeah.
But there was just a time where I just really stepped out of religion, where it's just like, religion is not for me, because even like through Bible studies, there's just things I was just like, no, it doesn't make sense. Like, oh no. And when I started learning more about energy and, more about being more spiritual, being intuitive, being connected, to just a higher power, it just started making a lot more sense to me. It's just things were just revealed that I already kind of had some kind of knowledge. Of course, numerology taught me that I'm an old soul, so I already have some kind of wisdom from many past lifetimes. However, I still believe that there is a higher power. I still believe that there is, God. I might not believe in hell, and I don't take the Bible very literal, but I definitely believe that, raising our vibration, which means, kind of not living in the flesh, and kind of letting spirit guide you. So I incorporate everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, totally. I think it has to in order for you to be on your right journey. So, whatever part of your life you were using at one point, maybe it's not as fully as it was, but it was for a purpose, right? So,
Right.
yeah. So, what kind of things are you doing day to day now? Are you focusing more on mediumship, or are you focusing more on psychic readings or tarot, or what do you do for your clients mostly these days?
I do everything. There's some clients that they just want some guidance, so I'll do tarot. And then I have clients that want to connect with their loved ones, so it's really, I don't do one more than the other. It's just it really balances. Yeah, but I would like to kind of do a little bit more Reiki, which for some reason I'm just really right now, spirit is just bringing people that, just really need the guidance in their life, whether it's through connect to a loved one or the tarot or numerology.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have guidance and direction, especially these days with things being so uncertain and where everybody's headed these days. Do you get a lot of those types of questions from people, like where am I going, what's coming up, kind of thing, or is it more just what kind of questions do they ask you these days?
Mm, I actually have a lot of clients. In the beginning, it was just like the regular basic questions, and I was just so annoyed. Like, did somebody do a spell on me? You tell me if I'm gonna find my soulmate. And I was just like, oh my God, these questions give me anxiety, and then I definitely prayed for a different kind of clientele, like attract people that really want guidance and really want to change. Let me, kind of teach them about their life purpose and how they can raise their vibration. And so I have a lot of clients that, they come to me because I need guidance. And so I definitely kind of give them the tools to get grounded, tools to help bring healing into their life, to kind of get them on the right track, and I help them discover their dreams, their goals. And I work with them, like, listen, you have this ability, this is your full potential, but you have to release this, you have to ground yourself. And, that's when my Reiki comes in, where I kind of help them heal and release some of these things. And so I actually now, my clientele is just really, they don't really come with me with questions. They're just kind of more like, give me a general reading, because I would always pick up, and, spirit just would always kind of tell them what they need to hear, So yeah, a lot of my clients, they just come like, look, Delia, you I don't even need to tell you, just give it to me, and spirit, sometimes I need to call them out. Sometimes I need guidance, so I really don't have people with questions as much as in the beginning.
And that's a good way to do the readings, I think, for your clients too, is just to give a general reading, because then you can really tell them what spirit wants to tell them, not what they're asking for or expecting to hear, right? So they get the proper message that they are supposed to get.
Yes. I recently had a client, and she wanted to know about her love life, but it was just like, spirit really wants you to focus on your health right now, and she was adamant, like, no, am I gonna have, am I gonna meet, loved one? And I said, I'm just seeing a lot of green, a lot of, where you need to heal yourself. And I need you to, take your health a little bit more serious. I need you, to like think of a detox, or, release. And I'm like, I saw a lot of swords, and I was like telling her, I'm actually very concerned with your health. I don't want to hear about you getting an operation, and a week later, she actually had a stroke. Um, so, it was just, and her friend actually brought her. So when her friend told me, she's like, when you have a stroke, you kind of have like a memory loss. So she didn't remember a lot of things. She didn't remember a lot of people, but she remembered the reading, she remembered that. And she mentioned me, like, Delia told me she's worried, she's concerned about my health. Well, I couldn't pinpoint you're going to have a stroke. I definitely, brought that up. Well, spirit wanted her to know, like, hey, let's focus on your health right now. That's the main thing. It's not your love life. You're not gonna have a love life if you're not here. So just spirit finds a way of navigating through the reading, like, let's focus on this. This is what you need to hear.
Yeah, spirit has different ways of making sure you hear what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So I
Right.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Delia, for being here today. I appreciate you talking to us on Haunting Live about your journey through mediumship and everything else you do as well. Very interesting and enlightening stories you shared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to share? How can people get in contact with you, or any type of promotion that you want to talk about before we let you go?
Sure, I actually have an Instagram page. If you follow Psychic Medium Delia, you will find my services there. I offer tarot, numerology, mediumship. I also sell healing crystals for your healing needs. And then I have a Facebook page, which is Delia Psychic Medium.
Okay, great.
And thank you so much, Trevor, for reaching out and having me here.
No, it's been wonderful having you here to hear your story through your journey and sharing your experiences and stories as well. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Psychic Medium Delia. She joined us all the way from California today, so we want to thank her again for sharing her stories and telling us a little bit about her journey through mediumship and everything else she does, like numerology and things like that. So it's been very interesting to hear her stories today. But thank you guys also for tuning in, and if you like what you see here, we do this each and every week right here on YouTube, and we are live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out here, or if you miss us, you can catch us later on, watch it here on YouTube, or we are also on the podcast apps. If you just want to listen to our show at any time at your convenience, just search for Haunting Live, and you'll find us on any podcast app players. So you can always check us out there as well. And also at the end of last year, we were just picked up by a broadcasting network. We are also found on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. You can watch us there as well on Wednesday nights. So we're very excited about being on their time slot as well. But yeah, if you like what you see here, don't forget to leave us a like and hit that subscribe button as well. That helps us out on YouTube as well. So otherwise, don't forget to also check out our mailing list on our website. We do send an email out each and every month to you guys explaining what we've done recently and also what's coming up for the next month's list of guests on Haunting Live. So sign up for our email list for great insight and what's coming up on updates to Haunting Live Podcast. Also, don't forget to check out our website, which is HauntingLivePodcast.com, our official website. We do have merch on there as well. Things we use in the paranormal field each and every day. So smudging materials, crystals for healing. We have handmade items, gift ideas, pendulums, stuff like that for paranormal and mediumship. So you can go and check out our merch page. We do ship all across Canada. So check that out and see if there's something there you want to pick up from us under our merch page. But other than that, don't forget to also check out Chris here at Haunting Live. He is under Divine Oracle Readings on Facebook. You can check him out every Saturday night, and they do readings online, in person, online. So you can check that out under Divine Oracle Readings on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Just check out the Facebook page for the next session there. So if you're interested in checking out something like that to get your reading in. So otherwise, don't forget to check us out next week. We are here each and every week and looking forward to having our next week's guest on. And hope you don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, and on our Instagram. We are on all the social media platforms. And that's about it. So guys, take care. Looking forward to seeing you guys back here next week for Haunting Live Podcast. Take care, guys.
And began working with healing of the land, and because it felt like such a massive project, started teaching everyone who wanted to learn.
From childhood, I would see spirits, and I just felt like they were the extra people in my home. I had a hard time like sharing them. I grew up in the Bible Belt in South Carolina, and it's just not cool. Or it's frowned upon, it's demonic, or woo, scary.
I've always been a spooky kid. I love everything paranormal. I don't have a memory where I didn't believe in magic and the paranormal.
I use my intuitive abilities to help people identify their inner self. So have a deeper self-awareness. And through that, I'm able to help them see different perceptions and different belief systems that might be preventing them, exploring their journey.
I'm crazy. I don't like it in here.